Thanking the Lord for so much, being able to come back once again and do another video. I want to do this video for all the pastors that's looking for a minister of music and have become very frustrated behind it. And we all know how that can get. And I want to tell you from a minister of music point of view, because I hang with a lot of pastors and I see the ups and the downs, and they always ask me from a musician standpoint, a minister of music standpoint, because a pastor and a minister of music need to be very close with a great relationship. Because if they are not on point with each other, it's going to be hard to make it work. It's going to be very hard to make it work. And I tell people a lot of times in these churches and these pastors that, and once again, I'm a nobody. I'm just a servant. I don't claim to be no more than that. I just want to enlighten you on a few things coming from a minister of music. Not to say that I know it all. And when you are getting frustrated because you don't have no musician, first of all, let me say this. It's too many of y'all pastors right now that are doing things the wrong way. Now, you got minister of music doing things the wrong way, too. It's on both sides. You got pastors that don't get along with minister of music, and then you got the minister of music that don't get along with the pastor. Everybody doing whatever, and that's why the church is being ran like whatever. And when you get to that point, there is no praise. There is no ministry. And you have to be patient and wait on God. God already knows exactly what you need, but the problem is, there's too many pastors that are getting very impatient. And then what they do, they start making their own move. And then they start putting anybody in position. That's the problem. Now, I want to talk about the church I go to, Little Flock Baptist Church. Like my pastor, he always have to pause and he remember when he didn't have nothing. And he'll sometime, even before he preach, he'll just look over there at the corner, because he went from having nobody to having a whole band in the corner. And he thanks God all the time. Why? Because he was patient with God. He waited. There was times, a lot of y'all pastors can relate, when you got to put a CD on and go without no music at all. Because we all know that music draws people to the church. Let's just keep it real. There's more people that go to church just to hear the music than people that's really going to hear the word of God. And that's sad to me. Because the word is so important. Because after all the music stopped, do you know Jesus? And do you really have Jesus in your heart? Salvation. And when you get to the point where you get so impatient with God, you start making all these moves, then you wonder why you ain't going nowhere. Because you're doing things the wrong way. And you need to, let me talk to some of you pastors who just settling for any kind of musician in your church, minister of music. You need to do things the right way. Because when you get to the point where you just start to say, hey, just come to church on Sunday, man. I'm going to pay you the same way. Don't worry about the word and all that other stuff. Come when you come. That's a problem. And that's why they do you like they do you. And you get the same results. And that ain't no act of God, because God say do things in decent and order. And all you're get an understanding. But musicians and pastors ain't getting an understanding right now. Even if you're looking for a bigger and better building, God is not going to give you that building because you can't take care of the building that you are already in, and you rushing God. You got to be patient. When my pastor stayed patient, he didn't only just get an organ player. He got an organ player, a drummer, a bass player, and a saxophone player. Just like that. And we are all still there, going on almost 7 years. So when you wait on God, He will bless you the right way. You ought to be getting tired of being blessed the wrong way, because you putting yourself in there and trying to make yourself grow the church. You can't grow the church. See, if you stop being so focused on I need a bigger building, and you ain't got but 50 members in there, why not pack out the building you got, make it look nice and presentable for people to come in? And then God is going to take care of the rest. You make sure you are teaching the true word of God, and you are living it, being a good shepherd to the flock. That's the problem. We trying to do everything else backwards. God is going to take care of the building, and it's going to come without a headache. Because when God bless you, God bless you. Yes, we're going to have ups and downs regardless. The Bible teaches us that. But there's too many pastors rushing God and putting anything in position. You have to slow down. and follow God. And I know most pastors don't want to hear what I'm saying, but to those out there that have an ear, like John was saying in Revelation, to those who have an ear, let them hear. Even though I'm younger than you, just listen to what I'm saying. That's why Paul used Timothy, young Timothy. Timothy was young, but Timothy listened, and Timothy followed Paul. And once again, I'm not here to say I know it all, but just if you can learn from what I'm saying, I'm telling you about things that I've been through and what I see, and I sit down and talk with pastors all the time. That's why everybody think I'm a pastor. I'm not no pastor by long shot. I'm just a servant, a minister of music that knows the word of God and try to live it. Not saying I know all about the word of God, because none of us would never know all the word of God. I don't care how many schools you went to and how many degrees you got. You'll never know the whole Bible. I look at that the same way with the piano. I'll never know everything on the piano. But we should know enough. So be patient and wait on God. Stop crying about a building. If you got a small building that's seating maybe 75 to 100 or maybe 150, thank God for that. Because if you ain't got 150 in there, why are you crying about a building that seat 500? Use what God has blessed you with and do it the right way, and God is going to take care of the rest. I know it's hard when you got to play them CDs and you struggle and you wish you had that big choir and big band, but you got to learn how to use what God has given you. First of all, God is not concerned about a number. We are. You can have a big-sized church with 3,000-4,000 people in there. And out of that 3,000-4,000, it might just be 100 that's actually saved and living right for Christ. But we don't look at it like that. Because we can see right now, and I'm not talking about nobody in particular, but we can look right now in half of these churches and see what's going on. And I'm talking about the mess, the abuse. So God is not concerned about a number, quantity. He's concerned about quality. So do things in decent and order. And all you'll get an understanding. We don't have no understanding. There's too many musicians battling their pastors right now. That's why I did that video. If your paycheck has become bigger than your ministry, then you got a problem. And I see pastors all the time putting these musicians and minister music in place and not caring whether they know the word of God or how they living. Bible teaches us about leadership. Yes, I'm judging righteously, like Jesus told me to do. Judge righteously. This is what's going on. Be patient and wait on God. There's going to come that time when he send you that minister of music. The sad thing is, some of y'all got them in your church right now. You done ran them off. You done had them, and you ran them off by not treating them right. Not even telling them thank you. Some of y'all looking at this video got a humble musician right up under you right now, and you ain't even treating them right. And then you wonder why things happen and they wind up leaving. It's not about a show-off contest. It's not about trying to outdo the next church. It's not about all that. So when you be patient and wait on the Lord, I know some pastors right now that have been looking for musicians for 5 or 6 years and more, and now they have been blessed. Because they learn from their mistakes to stop just putting anybody in position. See, sometimes you got to wait and wait and wait for God to give you what God is going to give you. And that's another thing God is doing to see how long can you wait? How long can you wait? And how long can you be obedient toward God? We always want to holler out, God bless me, but how many of us are really blessing God the right way instead of trying to make a bargain with God? So to the pastors that are looking at this video, you do things the right way and God going to take care of the rest. The church will grow. See, the problem is we got this religion and tradition, man-made talk stuff that's been going on for years after years, and you getting the same results. Because first of all, you got some of these people in the church that don't want to grow. You got too many pastors that don't want to grow, but then they crying about the growth. Well, you got to do something you ain't never done before. You're always talking about outreach, but you ain't going outreaching nobody. You done got comfortable with just being in church on Sunday. And that's a problem when you become comfortable. So wait on God. Do things the right way. Because you don't want to put no Annie, Bo, and Joe, and Luke in your church over your music ministry. That's why I got a problem with these pastors that's put these homosexuals over the music department. That ain't no act of God. I don't care who get mad at that. You get to the point where you just don't care about the right way. And leadership that Paul taught, and even when you look in Timothy, when you look at the qualifications of leadership, it didn't say nothing about a homosexual being in position. And yes, I'm judging righteously. That ain't no act of God. That's an act of confusion. That's the act of the devil. And you wonder why it might look like your church growing, because now you got homosexuality all over the church and the music department and a whole lot of these churches. But that stuff is always got its time, don't it? It's only going to happen for a season. It's going to happen for a season. You remember when God destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah because he couldn't find nobody righteous? Well, in half of these churches, how many people are really righteous? And I'm not here to bash on homosexuality. I'm here to tell you that God couldn't find nobody righteous, from homosexuality to sin all the way down. So when you're talking about growing and moving forward, well, you need to straighten up the mess that's on the inside of the church and stop settling for anything. So this is the minister of music's advice to the pastors. Take it how you want to take it, and I hope you can take it and just listen to what I'm saying and use it. God bless you.